Milo too, 2 steps forward and 1 step back, but we're getting there.
Oh, this is going to be a beaut day. Slowly getting through it, moving, one stage at a time. You just got to attack the whole thing and, plug the holes as you can. And this time around, the radiator's shown up from Terrain Tamer, brand new radiator. The hose kit, these are awesome. I mean, if you don't have one of these in the back of your truck, you should have. Even the dog's excited today because they come with all the clamps and everything else. I got a slave cylinder to replace that lump of rust hanging off the side of the bell housing. Look at this. Brand new brake calipers. Wow. We did contemplate rebuilding the old ones, but they look like they've been sitting in a bucket of rust for a couple of years. So we've got a whole lot of jobs to do. Richard from SMART's here. He's going to make up a bracket to hold the turbo. We've still got issues with finding piping for the turbo, water and oil, we'll get there. And of course I'm going to have to clean this up and make some sort of rod setup to hold the radiator frame in place because the last one was welded in there and that's not good enough. All right, looking forward to it. Let's get into it. This is great. Ah, hey, we're away. You notice I get all the technical jobs.
Yeah, well, it's not exactly the sort of workshop gear Richard's used to using, but it still does the job. I mean, some of this gear I've carted around the bush for years and it kind of looks like it too. But the MIG welder's a beauty. And I've put a new belt on the wheel, so, trying to take it easy on the guy, let's face it. He's just so much cleaner at this stuff than me, I tell you. Talking about cleaning, here comes the old Citraforce again. Gee, this stuff is good. I just love the way, it just about gets everything off. It's just fantastic. And then, of course, it's not caustic, is it? So you can wash it down, not a problem at all. Products like that, they just make your life really easy. A bit of sneaky engineering. This is a radiator stay for the other side. And this one on this side normally goes to a battery box. We won't have a battery box in this because it'll be underneath the chassis. So I've chopped the front off an old one and I've got a bit of a bonnet stay. And the plan is to put the radiator in and then find the right angle and length and everything else and then tack weld them together. That way there will be no stress on anything at all. Taking the stress out at this stage on everything is the key to the truck going a long way. Yeah, I know, my welding's nothing like Richard's, is it? But it'll hold.
Well, it's amazing how much you can get done in one day when you hook in with a couple of mates to help. Hey, Richard.
Yes, mate.
The new transfer case gearbox mount. It's a Terrain Tamer part, of course, and this is for 2H diesel, which is going to suit this. I had a rusty old one in there, and that means we can finish bolting up all the engine mounts. It's not going to look as pretty now. Richard made up a bracket, a beautiful bracket, that'll hold the turbo, support the turbo from underneath, because that's one of the bits that was missing. And I've finished the mounting rods for the radiator. So by the end of today, we'll probably have the fan clutch, radiator, maybe the hose is hooked up, the belts are finished. It's not that far off sticking a milk crate on the chassis and going for a drive.
Oh, so much easier than doing it with the body on, I can tell you.
Just finger tight the bolts on the bottom so they can't pull through. And then you get the top bolts located. And the job's half done. Oh, I love it when it works. Well, this is typical when you're customising things. Just slip the radiator into place. Beautiful. It's very close to the fan, but that's because I'm playing with the rear mount still. That should bring it back, and we can move this forward a little bit. But get a load of this. That's the bottom outlet for the pipe. And as you can see, it goes straight into the power steering pump because it wouldn't have had a power steering pump on the 2H there. It would have been up the top of the motor somewhere. So, looks like a trip down to see me radiator, mate, and get a 90-degree bend put into it. Oh, well, it really doesn't matter. It's all got to come out anyway. I've got to do a bit more playing, blah, 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 blah. It's just a shame I can't start it and drive down to the shops this arvo, I tell you. Get a load of this. This is the brand new slave cylinder for the clutch. From Terrain Tamer, of course. And as typical of Terrain Tamer, you can see Alan's influence everywhere. Not only do you get a new slave cylinder, but you get a new nipple and you get a new push rod as well. Because at the end of the day, most of the time, that's all you got, you know. Now you get the whole unit. So the whole thing is new. So it's all going to operate new together, which means that the rubber will last longer because it's on a... Oh, it's clever. All right. Well, that's not going to take much to fit.
Well, that sure beats lying underneath the truck in a car park, which is where I did the last one just not that long ago. And it wasn't a new one either. Anyway, pretty soon there she is, all ready to go. Just needs a spring.
Well, that was a big day. I'm at back brake line stage, which is awesome. I found some old ones that are still pretty good that are saved. They're going to fit. Terrain Tamer supplied us with some new rubber hoses, which is awesome. Slave cylinders together and on. We've got the turbo bracket made. Richard did a beaut job on that. And the radiator, pretty much there, although we've got to pull it out and knock that little fitting down the bottom around, get a 90-degree on that. And at the moment, all we're doing is just waiting for the paint to dry. Richard's made a beaut little bracket to support the back of the...
Done, mate, done.
It's dry.
Still tacky, but I reckon we can get it on before the day's out.
You want to put it on, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Mate, that's a beautiful bit of engineering.
It's getting there, it's getting there.
Yeah. Wow.
It'll do the JOB.
The JOB. Look at that. That's glorious. And it's still wet. Let's put it on while it's wet. Cool. Well, that's it. That's how you get a truck built. One brick at a time. Just keep throwing bricks at it, just like building brick walls, isn't it, really? Sometimes I feel like throwing bricks at this, but you know what? It's so satisfying. It really is. Especially seeing all these new bits going in. That's awesome. All right. Well, I'll go and do these brake lines soon as Richard can't finish.